Welcome to Our Words, Our City Live. Thank you for joining us tonight, together as a community, to take a virtual journey with us, to experience some amazing performances by DC Scores kids, kids from the past, the present, and the future, and some of the best spoken word artists from around the world in this movie premiere, Our Words, Our City. And I know you're all thinking, what did I do to deserve such an awesome experience? How much does it cost? No worries, the experience is free. But you'll see on this website a donate now button. Look, we all know that times are tough, but if you can, and hopefully you will naturally feel inspired to, please support the amazing poet athletes who need us more than ever right now. We will appreciate anything that you can give. And another way that you can support, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see some really, really cool Our Words, Our City merch. So buy a sweatshirt to add to your snazzy work from home gear. And all of the money for those purchases will support our poet athletes too. In addition to seeing the premiere of the Our Words, Our City movie, tonight we will be joined by some special guests. And to kick things off, first up are two of the stars of the show, DeAndre and Yanina. Hey, DeAndre, what's up, Yanina? Good to see you both. How's it going?
It's great.
It's good.
DeAndre, take that do-rag off.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Take it off. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Sorry, that's like my kid right there. My son.
Yeah. So sorry. I meant to take it.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, so tell our friends tonight how long you've been a part of DC Scores, and tell us about your favorite DC Scores memory. Yanina or DeAndre, y'all pick who's gonna go first.
I could go. I've been with DC Scores since I was in 6th grade, so that'd be 4 years now. My favorite memory, there's so many to choose from, but the one that definitely moved me was the first Our Words, Our City I participated in, which was last year. When I look back at it, like the performance, like my heart was racing. Like that's when I noticed. And then when I look back at it, I saw somebody cry. Somebody was moved by my poem. And I was like, wow, I didn't think that's when I started to understand the power that my words did have. And that definitely changed the way I look at things now for my performances.
So realizing how your work impacts others and the power of your words, and having that moment is your most precious memory so far. That's awesome. All right, DeAndre, tell me about your favorite memory at DC Scores.
Honestly, I've been in DC Scores since for God knows how long. It seems like since the beginning of time. Like elementary school, I would say, with Perry Street Prep, was like my first time getting interactions with DC Scores, and the sensation, like as soon as we were done getting off the field, the most vivid memory I have is the first ever jamboree that we had, because that was a jamboree in which I met a lot of people that I know now that work in DC Scores. And I remember getting off the field and the coach, one of the other coaches, the opposite team's coaches, like getting down on one knee, because I was small back then. I'm not small anymore, but I was small back then. Getting down on one knee, telling me like how much passion I had and how good I was. And it was crazy to me because I played sports before, and when you're playing basketball, it's very rare that the other coach will tell you you're good. Like in the middle of the game, the other coach will tell you that like you're doing something right. Like this is so rare for me. So like when he looked me in my eyes and like he told me that, and I think I'm so sure it was either Popsy or it was someone else who said it. But when they said that, like in my heart, I was like I can really do something. And then as soon as after that game, we learned about the poetry slam, and everything that's incorporated in it, and sitting in those workshops, everything, it just changed my whole perspective on not only soccer, but my perspective on poetry as well.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, DeAndre. And you are quite an amazing poet. I don't know about your soccer skills anymore. I haven't seen that, but I have seen your poetry. So I can vouch for that. So you both got VIP access and got to see the film Monday night. Let's take a quick look at what it was like for DeAndre to see himself on the big screen.
Okay, hi guys.
Hey.
Been a while since I heard that poem. It's crazy. It's crazy because it's still fire. Like to this day, it's just so good. Like Uh, I'm sorry. I was just reminiscing about that poem. That was. But the video is really clean. I like the
It
video.
looks good, right? It looks
great.
good. It makes all of us look real.
And the transitions aren't bad at all either.
Yeah, I like the shots, the different types of shots too. Like it seems like one person is doing like a handheld shot, and then there's like one here. It looks.
I like that. Really put time into it. You can see that.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else got some comments for DeAndre's performance? I think it was dope. That's probably one of my favorite ones that you've done so far, DeAndre. And I'm not just saying that because it looked the way it looked. Like it was real good. Anybody else? Go ahead, Yanina. Go ahead and give DeAndre some props. I see it. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, I remember the beginning of memorization for that. Like, he really worked hard, and then to see him, like, we had like a little bit of time where we didn't see each other, and then to see him perform it like that, it was amazing. Good job.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes. So it looks like we have another special guest joining us tonight, defender for the Washington Spirit and a proud UNC Tar Heel, and sometimes a poet herself, as we learned from the other night at the watch party. Everyone, welcome Paige Nielsen. How's it going, Paige?
Good. How are you, Charity?
I'm doing splendid. Seeing you twice in a week, so nice. Got to do it twice. Good. That's what's up. Thanks for being here and being such a great supporter of our organization and our kids. So I just want to ask you, tell us about your first experience with DC Scores and what that was like for you.
Well, my first experience was actually playing with a lot of the kids during halftime of a DC United game. And I had an incredible experience. Just these kids running around playing soccer, having the time of their lives at Audi Stadium was incredible to see. This organization, I just saw how much hard work that they put it into it and how much they give back to kids. The second time I came to the middle school poetry slam event last fall, and that was like unbelievable. I can't even have the right words to describe it. I was moved in so many ways. A lot of kids talking about overcoming adversity and the power in their voice and basically their fearlessness of presenting to a huge crowd. Even when I got up there to present the award, I was shaking. So I was so incredibly proud of these kids, and yeah, it's been a great journey.
I couldn't tell if you were nervous when you got there. It looked like you did a little dance for the you got there.
I had to shake out my nerves.
It was awesome. So you got a sneak look at the movie with our kids on Monday. Thanks again for being there as well. What stood out to you?
Again, it's like this fearlessness that these kids have. They're being so vulnerable when they share their stories, and I think we can all learn from them, which is awesome to see. You don't really imagine yourself learning from these kids when they're like 12 years old or whatever. But yeah, I got a lot out of it. I know everyone watching gets a lot out of it, and it's really fun and exciting to watch.
That's awesome. So I know you were at the middle school slam. Did any particular poem stand out to you that night?
Yeah, I forgot her name. The rapper.
The rapper. Savannah. She's actually in the movie. Savannah.
She ended it saying something about the victory was hers, and all the rest put up their fists, and I was like, dang, I was shook. I went back on the seat of my chair. That was incredible.
Yeah, she slayed that performance. Yeah, and I think she did a good job in the movie as well. So I don't like to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna put you on the spot because they said that you might be a poet or something. Do you mind sharing a quick poem for us real quick?
Yeah, I don't mind. It might be the same one that I already did, but
that was a good one. So I'm here for it. All ears.
All right. It's called Hidden Wounds and Unbearable Grief. You ready? You ready to get deep?
Let's hear it. I'm ready. Hold on. All right, let's go.
All right. I stare into the distance with a hole in my chest, blank pages, numb limbs, forged smiles, and trapped cages. I search for something, anything, signs, laughter, smell, but all I see is enclosed darkness, trapped inside of a shell. My heart tightens, my brain swells, my body trembles at the thought of her name. I am filled with remorse, agony, hostility, and envy. Now I'm fuming, I can hardly breathe. Paralyzed, desperate for air, I try to roar, shout, or scream. The walls of my throat thicken, glands expanding, airways closing. My entire body is bursting at the seams. As I take a breath, I jolt forward, open my eyes. Cars are moving, crowds are sipping coffee, feet are shuffling, passing me by. Trees sway with a slight wind chill. Again, life resumes, but I lay there still, chained to my hidden wounds. It seems I always will.
What? Everybody snap it up, snap it up. That was amazing, outstanding. Yeah, I heard it before, but it gets better and better each time. Thank you, DeAndre. Thank you, Yanina. And thank you, Paige, for all of you joining us and sharing. All right, we're about to get ready to get the movie started. We just have one last thing before we roll the movie tonight. One more very special person wants to say hello to DC Scores. So let's welcome DC Scores board member, Valerie Utsi. Check her out.
Good evening, everyone, and I welcome you from my home to DC Scores, Our Words, Our City Live. My name is Valerie Utsi, and I am the Chief Human Resources Officer for T-Rex Solutions. As a corporate sponsor for tonight's event and a partner for the past 3 years with DC Scores, we are committed to supporting youth development, and we know that providing our community's children with resources for healthy play, learning, and confidence building helps to grow the next generation of leaders. I am excited this evening to spend time with my family watching these young poets. As a proud member of the board for DC Scores, I am personally invested in youth development for underserved communities and believe that physical fitness, literacy, and community are pathways to success. I hope you enjoy the evening of inspiring spoken word, and I really hope you consider a donation to DC Scores this evening, and thank you for being part of this community and event.
Thank you, Valerie, and thank you, T-Rex, for making tonight possible. So the movie that you're about to see was filmed less than 3 months ago, and it was an incredible night. In a few days, we will share it with the entire world on Amazon Prime, but tonight, you will be getting a special sneak preview. The performances you'll see represents months and months of hard work by our kids and coaches. And you'll see some of the world's best professional spoken word artists too, who performed alongside of our poet athletes. Now we're all in this experience together, right? I'm with you, you're with me, I'm in your home or wherever you're at right now. So let's all vibe out. And let's give a lot of love and support to the performers in an open mic fashion, wherever you are, right? So this is a poetry showcase. So there are a couple ways that you can show that love. And you can do that when you hear something in the poem that you really, really like. And one of those ways you can do that is by snapping your fingers. Let's hear you snap. Oh my goodness, y'all sound so good. All right, you can even do something that we call clapping. Let me hear you clap. Oh, wow. Hear it all around the world. And we even do something that we call at Busboys and Poets, the chocolate at the roof of your mouth. Let me hear you say, like yum, yes. Oh, y'all sound great, amazing. That's when you hear something like you really feel like you're like, oh my goodness, I wish I wrote that myself. That's when you get that effect. So show love tonight, show support, and let's be in here together and let's share that energy. I hope that you all enjoy the show. And I'll be back here throughout with more special guests. And now, let's get it started. This is Our Words, Our City. My mother used to tell me that I should give and never question and never expect a dime in return. She said that giving is something that cannot be measured. It's a treasure, something like a gift, because the gift of giving is an ancient tradition, a tradition as an extension from my ancestors' centuries and centuries of feeling helplessness while still graciously displaying selflessness. She said, baby, this world will eat you alive and tear away at your soul. So diligently and intentionally give the most when you feel whole. Trust me, I know you would tell me how our ancestors gave us hope when they escaped to the north, how Rosa gave us resilience when she refused to move, how James Brown gave us pride when he said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, and the vibrant joy he gave us the way he shuffled and jived over racism. You will tell me about Malcolm and Martin, how they gave us strength and patience, calm yet anxious, how Langston paved the pathway to us exploring our biggest, richest, most ambitious dreams. You would tell me how the Obama's nomination gave us validation that yes, we can, and yes, we did. You and Pops did not see eye to eye on everything. I remember what you said to him that day when he asked you, as you rolled the windows down, arms extended like the branches of a giving tree, green leaves falling to the hands of the homeless man. He asked you, sweetheart, why do you give them money? You know what they're going to end up doing with it. You know what it's going to go towards. You know, we really don't owe them anything. You would sigh and reply, my love, who are we to judge? You understood that what it means to give is the epitome of what it means to live. To live is to serve is to pay it forward in honor of ones before. She said that giving is something that cannot be measured. It's a treasure, something like a gift, because the gift of giving is an ancient tradition, a tradition as an extension from my ancestors. So I give like my life depends on it, as if my ancestors gave me the keys to the chains to unlock the block freedom that flows through my veins, as if Rosa gave me a seat at the front of the bus in the Jim Crow Ku Klux Montgomery heat, as if James Brown gave me his feet, choreographed my every move to continue to prove that even resilience can be wielded with a two-step Motown groove, as if Langston helped me snooze, manifest my dreams, gave me the beams of light and darkness that burst at the seams, as if my mother named me Charity, which means love, or the act of giving to those in need, as if it's apparent that my parents gave me the foundation to serve, to observe the absurd and give back to those who deserve more love than what the world's given them, because life's thrown them to the curb. So I bless them with these hands, this knowledge, or these words. So I give like my future depends on it. Even if giving takes its toll, because you said, baby, this world will eat you alive and tear away at your soul. So diligently and intentionally give the most when you feel whole, because receiving something in return should never be your goal. Trust me, I know. Thank you. All right, let's get this show started. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and welcome to our 5th Our Words, Our City Poetry Slam Showcase. Make some noise. The blessing. My name is Charity Blackwell. I am the Director of Creative Arts and Education at DC Scores, and I will be your host for the evening. Are y'all ready to get this show started? Say yeah. Say oh yeah. Welcome to Our Words, Our City. Make some noise. I want to bring up our first alum from Burville Elementary School in Ward 7 and Seed School of Washington, D.C., who is now a senior at Georgetown University. Please make some noise for Maya.
Give the youth what they want. It should have never been demanded from the mouth of a child to be awarded their own life. Our society has taken it from them. Woven within our systemic structures, it deems low-class children unworthy of opportunity and access. It tells migrant children to live parentless. It declares school shooters and terrorists a protection of their rights, while we require the youth to lay down their life. Capitalism and corporations play God, thickening oceans while choking our air, assaulting our planet while our children watch scared. We tell them to live is a privilege. Mad they would challenge the life they were given, preaching to be good as our society keeps sinning, quick to point out losers despite no one is winning. The cost equates the lives of our youth, begging you to listen, begging you to choose, to do, because the youth are fighting for you too. Still hopeful and joyful despite all the doom, they create, they sing, they dance, and they laugh, with wide-eyed eager to take on any task, gifting the world the light and the life to get us back up and to give us a little try. I commit to making the way, to give back the world the joy of the day, to give back the world the courage and the light, to stand by the youth and to choose what is right. I stand here today not as a voice, not as a speaker, but to direct your attention to the youth of our world. They will tell you what they need to thrive. Just give them back their beautiful lives.
The name of this piece is Letter to All Activists. We've got so far away from reliability and the power of words and have extended to rely on ability and playing with the power of words, but why do we play with words when they hold so much? See, I remember seeing "Free Him" on the back of my cousin's t-shirt. Seeing those words made me relive every moment I ever spent with him, and when they blissed his home, they blissed my soul. And now seeing "Free Him" and hearing "Free Him" in a rap song can match the bars, but can never match the bars that keep him so confined and far from home. But you claim to fight for my brother. How do you fight for my brother when you've never seen him behind that bulletproof glass? See, I talk to my brothers through a phone, looking them dead in the face without the ability to touch them. Sometimes it's like talking to them with two cans and between a string, because I speak and the words just get rambled in and find their way to him, but that string so fragile, so weak, it's like my life, no. It's like his life when the judge gave him that life sentence. But you call yourself activists. How do you call yourself an activist when I don't see any activity? Because when my brother got shot, I didn't see no "Free Him," no "For It Live," no "Never Forget" from Black Lives Matter, but you claim his life mattered. But I didn't see his name in any of your Instagram rants. But this isn't a letter about how little you do. No. This is a letter about how much you claim to do. See, you tell us to stand up and fight against any injustice, but I've played enough injustice to know that I'm not no superhero. So if I can't survive the best of 3 rounds with Superman, what makes you believe that I can survive a single round from the same red, white, and blue? But what am I to do? If I get gunned down right now in the middle of the street, I don't want to be a 4L. I don't want to be a never forget. I don't want to be a forever remember. Because at the end of the day, we always forget. I don't want to be a hashtag. I want to be remembered.
Hi guys, I'm Yanina Chicas. Thank you for coming out. And tonight I will be performing a poem entitled Railroad Crossing. Hope you guys enjoy. Driving on the beautiful streets of my city, some with the most amazing potholes, some smoothly paved. You see a school sign up ahead. It's not an ordinary school, though. It's one where you yield before crossing into, because the "Do Not Enter" sign has always been there for our kind. One where once they touch topics around your race, they sure do slow down. Now the whole world's watching. Caution, caution, caution. Make sure your words don't put you in a dead end. Your time's up, and now they detour to a less slippery road. They put the curriculums under construction because you didn't speak when the space was available. But they never make the U-turn to understand your point of view. Make it a one-sided observation. Now they make you feel like the road don't work in your head. Stop. No panicking at any time. They can't see you in a vulnerable state of mind. Stop. They can't catch that side you. Remember, you're on the right lane. Don't go at it one way. Remember that they are on the wrong lane, and just because they are doesn't mean you can't step off those brakes and keep it going. So you better stay, and you better pray that they make a railroad crossing for all our people, and that they succeed, and that we succeed, because we will one day. Thank you.
It deeply touches me to see how much our alums have grown and how they're naturally shifting into not only amazing spoken word artists, but great mentors for our young poet athletes. The next special guest joining us this evening is not only one of the biggest champions in DC city government, he is also a dope poet in his own right. Let's welcome Councilmember Grosso.
Hey everyone, Councilmember David Grosso here. I'm extremely excited to be joining DC Scores tonight to celebrate National Poetry Month with performances from professional spoken word artists and my favorite, the poet athletes of DC Scores. The DC Scores mission is to provide a supportive team for every child who needs one. That is crucial during this time. For many students in DC, being a part of a DC Scores team is their lifeline, a lifeline they need now more than ever. When our young people are able to return to school, DC Scores will be a critical partner for them to ensure their social and emotional health needs are met. This pandemic has been a trying time for so many, and students are not impervious to the uncertainty, stresses, and disruptions that coronavirus has caused. My mission is to meet our youth where they are, with strong mental and behavioral health supports. This is important more now than ever, as we want our students to be in the best position to succeed academically and in life. I want to thank DC Scores for all they do. Also, I want to thank DC Scores for inviting me to participate in this wonderful event, and thank all of the students who continue to share their words, dreams, and voices. And finally, in the spirit of this event, I'm going to close with a poem I recently wrote. It's called Horse Runs Circles in the Yard. Searching lost through beaten rain, while clouds are closing in on thoughts, and massive wind blows branches, butterflies, and boxes. A universal flight dance on the wind shows birds flopping and falling like leaves from trees in a park. Echoes resonating off the side of a barn are lost in the wind with petals from a flower as a horse runs in circles in a yard. Strutting roosters and chickens brush off threats from the cat, hiding in cloud shadows, yet are lost in the wind and rain and clouds themselves. Thank you all again, and remember, stay home and stay healthy, DC.
I think the council member deserves some snaps. Let's snap it up for Councilmember Grosso. Thank you for sharing. And now let's get back to the movie. This next performer is an incredibly decorated professional spoken word artist who has performed all over the world. Please welcome my good friend, I think, Black Chakra!
My father is a loaded weapon. He keeps one in the chamber. At any moment, he can go from pop to pops, and I am a mean son of a gun. I got drone strikes for hands. Say the wrong word to me and I'll bomb your face. In this rage is grown within me. It's organic, so if you wish to get rocked, I can grant it, do damage. I'm pretty good at this arms race, but it forces me to keep my loved ones at arm's length. I'm a sniper. Looking through the scope of my life, I see a man standing alone, holding hate in his head till his mind is blown. He don't know if it was the bullet or the belligerents. Can't tell if he was the victim or the violator. For 15 years, y'all, I've been metaphorically aiming a slug at my mug, and I trigger myself, pull it to become the bulletproof, that I could be anything that I put my mind to. Did I mention that I'm a mind too? You step to me and watch how I blow up. Doesn't matter who you are in my life or how you show up. If you go out on a limb for me, you end up with no limbs for me. My anger is an anchor. Doctor, my blood turns my body a battleship. Stops you from seeing all the pearls harbored in my smile, because I don't have issues. I have magazines, fully loaded clips ready to unload insults, because that's the only way we click. Sticks and stones can break bones, but my words will mangle a man into match, and they ask, what makes you so mad? My best friend passed, and I inherited a child that I love but I can't afford. My father wanted a lawyer, but all he got was a poet, my landlord. ain't God, but still gets to decide how I live. I went to work, and my students got white supremacy so stuck in their saliva that they speak slavery. And how they whip my ancestors back, then get mad when I lash out. I went on YouTube and saw another black boy murdered by the police, and it split me in half. Maybe this country is the reason my mind can't stay in the United States. I am a grenade. I am a grenade, except when I pull the pin, it's to stop the explosion. Doesn't matter when the shrapnel is in your psyche. I have to be a monk when I'm amongst you. Because if it ain't peace, you get in peace. It becomes war that I worship. These knuckles become warships, and when these pops go off, I take it a step farther. My father is a loaded weapon, and I am a mean son of a gun. Translation, I never seeked help from my anger. Refuse to be diagnosed as bipolar. We don't talk that mental health round here. We just become rounds here. I'm trying to learn from my father's mistakes. But you know what they say. The shell don't fall too far from the shotgun.
This next group of performers are all current DC Scores poet athletes, excelling. Yes, clap it up for that. Yep. They're excelling on the soccer field and, as you can see, on the stage. So I want y'all to first welcome our first poet athlete up to the stage. Please welcome 11-year-old Miriam!
Walking in these streets is a dangerous world. Bow! 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 That's all you hear around. I worry for myself. Walking in these streets is a dangerous world. Bow! 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 That's all you hear around. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I really don't think I'm gonna live another day. Long live my peoples. They had big hearts and big dreams. But now, they can't live another day to see. Stop all this hate. That's what's causing all this. Remember, you was getting bullied once. You ain't like it one bit. So you need to stop it. We got kids committing suicide, and we keep killing each other. We are losing our generation, and soon there'll be none of us left. We need to work together and believe in each other. There is no fairy godmother that will automatically make this happen. We need to help one another out and be nice to each other. So next time they see us, we'll be going through the struggle together. Yeah.
I want to welcome everyone. Make some noise right now for 12-year-old Devon.
Gun violence. It's a crazy thing, you know? Endless people in DC, shot and dead. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It really doesn't matter what race you are. In DC, I hear gunshots before I go to sleep. But we choose to stand still like statues. We can't be heard. We need to speak up and speak out about our issues. I am the meaning of hope. It's what I can give. Kids getting shot left and right, it's a shame. But we choose to stand still like sticks. We can't be heard. We need to speak up and speak out about our issues. Then we could be the meaning of hope. It's what we can give.
Words surround me, murderous words. I look on the news, a picture of a boy, a kid, just a year older than me. His life stolen in a blink of an eye. Murder, blood loss, homicide, suicide, these are all different ways people die. And I know somewhere there's a kid lying on the street. We can hardly hear the sounds of her crying. Kid standing over her, kicking her. I know she's wishing she was flying. I can see the sadness in her eyes, and I know this is just one more way to die.
Sometimes I think to myself, why America? We scream guns down, but the government never listens. Why America? Why do we kill our own? There's so many people now who can only wear a frown as they watch their own fall. lifelessly to the ground. Why, America? Why do we kill our own? Even in the school halls, and for no reason at all. It was never their fault. Why can't we change our gun laws? Why, America?
Coming back to the stage, Jefferson. Give it up for Jefferson Group.
Police brutality. The one thing people don't see coming. Or do we? The red and blue lights should be for help, but really brings horror.
Too many people are dying. Big chunks of those are innocent. Even if someone reaches for their pocket, pop! One life gone.
Police officers should be trained to do what's right. If not, more people will die. Now's the time to put up a fight.
Now's the time to put up a fight. Now's the time to put up a fight.
So I got a chance to recently check in with Black Chakra, aka Jacob Mayberry, and ask him what it was like working with these kids. And here's what he had to say. Check him out.
Hey, I'm Jacob Mayberry, aka Black Chakra. I just wanted to take a second to talk about DC Scores. This program has contracted me for the last couple years, and it's been one of the greatest experiences teaching I've ever had in my life. I really love what DC Scores does with its youth and how it helps them cultivate their talent in poetry and charity, because what she does isn't just get poets, she gets the top poets, so she actually shows them that they're investing in these kids' poetry and they want them to grow as artists. It's an amazing program where you know that they want to develop youth in their athletic abilities, but they care that much about their writing abilities too. So where most programs or most things in this life, you don't ever see the two blend, this program takes care of both of them. And I find that to be like the utmost important when working with them. Also, you can tell that they care. And I think that care for the youth that they've allowed me to express and that I've seen them express has caused a really great relationship and working with them that I really enjoy. And I look forward to working with them into the future. I look forward to more of their Our Words, Our City events, and I look forward to more great youth poetry.
Thank you, Black Chakra. Thank you for all of the love and support that you have given our kids over the years. So let's keep it moving and grooving. Y'all having a good time? Say yeah. Oh, say, oh yeah. Oh, okay. I feel y'all with me. Y'all with me. Let's keep it moving. So I'm particularly excited about our next special guest, an amazing poet, community advocate, and a good friend of DC Scores. Let's welcome Director of Poetry and Events at Busboys and Poets, Pages Matam.
So I've written something about this unique time. And tonight I want to share it with you all. I've been really going through this pandemic and this period of forced stillness. For someone like me who does a lot of work with young people and adults in different artistic capacities, it's been a bit difficult. But it has also allowed a deep moment of self-reflection and of also getting to know myself in ways that I didn't know were possible. I wrote this piece about how poetry and art has helped me survive during this time. It's called You Are the Poem. Language is a tool of resonance. The cascading sound of the break, a line dance of the alphabet plunging the meter into a spellbinding rhythm. The eye of the crazed, the clutter of light searching for clarity in the irony of life and death, held in the same place, but never remembering that they've always been longtime lovers separated by the fragment of a decision. How language becomes a wind, both violent and gentle in its sway, that can shatter the soul or soothe the lightning beneath it. So breathe breathe even in these moments when it seems like life is missing. But you are no amber. Stay alert to yourself. All of the love and fire that you become, you are as essential as the poem living inside of your body. Because when every day becomes a battle, spilling from the bedazzled mouth of greed and laws and oil and bones and flags and shells and triggers and borders and the countless unnamed heroes who swallow it all for us and spit us out a charred rainbow, we will not feed on silence and call it mercy, because for some of us, poetry is how we cope with the aftermath. And for many others, poetry is the weapon of choice for our survival. Thank you. So you're watching. How can I help? What can I do? Well, I have some answers for you. The show you're seeing tonight is absolutely and completely free. We hope that you'll share it and tell it with everyone that you know. Please tune in to get, even if it's just for a few minutes, so that they can get some of that love and that joy that I've been talking about. Because trust me, when you see a lot of these young people perform, when you see even these teaching artists and special guests perform, you are absolutely going to be moved. I promise you on that. So you also see a donate button on the screen. And we know times are a little tough for everyone right now. But if you have anything to give, even just $1, I promise you it is going to go towards something very, very special and something incredibly essential for these programs to continue to thrive and be able to offer these wonderful healing artistic spaces for these young people to be able to come and share their work and not just become great or better artists, but great and better people. All the proceeds that you'll be donating today are all going to help DC Scores continue to help these kids feel safe and supported and connected and hopeful during this very difficult time. Even better, all donations tonight, every single donation up to $25,000 are being matched by our generous sponsors. So if you've got it, you should definitely give it, okay? Because it is going to go towards something incredibly powerful and necessary during these times that are going to help these kids and help continue to further our programs and our reach to as many, 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 many people, especially these young people that really need it at this current time. So for every dollar you give, that's $2 to help these amazing kids. You see how that doubles, how that just continues. The gift that continues to give. So please, 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 please use that donate button, share with everyone that you know, make sure that we get as many people in this space as possible. And again, we are so incredibly grateful and thankful for all of your contributions. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
First of all, let's snap it up for that amazing poem by Paige. Yes, I hear all the snaps around the world. Everybody, ooh, it's overwhelming. All right, stop, calm it down. All right, thank you, Pages. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your support in your position as the director of poetry events at Busboys and Poets. And thank you, Busboys and Poets, for being just an amazing partner to DC Scores. So before we get to our next performer, I just wanted to update you. You are doing great helping us raise funds for DC Scores and the Poet Athletes. We're very close to our goal. So dig deep if you can, and let's get to the top. Keep on giving, y'all. Doing great. All right, brace yourselves. Hold tight, because the next part of the movie is something phenomenal. We were blessed to have the one and only Clint Smith join us. He's an extraordinary voice in our field. You may know him for his many books that he's written or his appearances on his huge podcast like Pod Save America. Check it out. It's amazing. What you may not know is that Clint has worked with DC Scores Poet Athletes on and off for many, many years. I hope that you all enjoy these highlights from his time on our stage. Welcome, Clint. Outstanding. Our featured professional performer tonight is a writer, teacher, and doctoral candidate at Harvard University. He has been connected with DC Scores for many years, including serving as an MC at one of our past poetry slams, working with our poet athletes. He is a national poetry slam champion whose writing has been published in The New Yorker, The New York Times Magazine, The Atlantic, Poetry Magazine, and the Paris Review. Clap it up for that, y'all. Goodness. He was also named the 2018 Forbes 30 Under 30 list, as well as Ebony Magazine's 2017 Power 100 list. He has had 2 TED Talks collectively and has been viewed over 6 million times. He is a co-host on a podcast called Pod Save the People and Justice in America. And most of all, he is just an amazing poet, y'all. So please give it a warm welcome right now for Clint Smith!
I was deeply moved by the poems I was hearing, and I think I anticipated doing some different poems, but I kind of wanted to speak to have my work in conversation with a lot of the work that I was hearing from these young people. I used to, as they say, I used to be a national poetry slam champion. That was what, like six years ago now, you know. And I was like young and limber, and then I had kids, and so we have a almost 3-year-old and an almost 1-year-old, and they are amazing. I'm also very tired all the time, and so I used to be up here and I used to come, show up to the slam, show up to open mics, and if somebody came up and they started reading a poem off an iPad, I'd be like, psh, that's so whack. You'll never see me read a poem off an iPad. That's ridiculous. Look at that old person being old. And then life has a way of humbling you. Because I don't know what happens when you have kids. Your brain matter just sort of disappears into the world. And all I have the capacity to remember now is how not to step on Legos. And so I was raised, for context, I'm from New Orleans. I was raised in a very mixed income, mixed race community. I had black friends, white friends, Asian friends. It was like the Disney Channel. It was great. We were riding bikes with theme music playing in the background. Our hair was blowing in the wind. It's clearly their hair, not my hair. And my dad would always say, he's like, I love that you have such a diverse group of friends. That's why we sent you to school. That's why we moved to this neighborhood. But you have to understand that the implications for the decisions that you make might be very different for you than they are for your other friends. And when you're a kid, you don't understand that. When you're a kid, you're just like, you're the mean dad. You're the strict dad. Why aren't you more like Tommy's dad? And he's like, Tommy don't live in this house. And then he walks away very dramatically because he watches too many Denzel Washington movies. And it wasn't until a few years ago when Tamir Rice was killed. As many of us know, Tamir Rice, 12-year-old boy who was killed in Cleveland, Ohio, shot within 2 seconds of police pulling up to the scene, unarmed, playing with a toy gun. So obviously multiple layers of issues to that case. And what I saw was the manifestation of the fear that my parents carried for so much of my life, and something that had previously been an abstraction becoming this sort of, again, material manifestation of their very real fear. And I think often about the conversation that black children have with their parents and the sort of intergenerational nature of that conversation. That my grandfather had a conversation with my father had a conversation with me. I will one day have to have a conversation with my 3-year-old son, who now everybody looks at and says is adorable, but I know 10 years from now people might look at him and see something very different, right? And so what does it mean to prepare a child and prepare yourself to navigate those realities? And so this is a poem that I wrote after Tamir was killed, putting sort of my experience in conversation with his life. One night when I was 12 years old, on an overnight field trip to another city, my friends and I bought super soakers, turned the hotel parking lot into our own water-filled battle zone. We hid behind cars, running through the darkness that lay between the streetlights, boundless laughter ubiquitous across the pavement. But within 10 minutes, my father came outside, grabbed me by my forearm, and led me into our room with an unfamiliar grip. Before I could say anything, tell him how foolish he had made me look in front of my friends, he derided me for being so naive, looked me in the eye, fear consuming his face, and said, son, I'm sorry, but you can't act the same as your white friends. You can't pretend to shoot guns. You can't run around in the dark. You can't hide behind anything other than your own teeth. I know now how scared he must have been, how easily I could have fallen into the empty of the night, that some man would mistake this water for a good reason to wash all of this away. These are the sorts of messages I've been inundated with my entire life. Always keep your hands where they can see them. Don't move too quickly. Take off your hood when the sun goes down. My parents raised me and my siblings in an armor of advice, an ocean of alarm bells so someone wouldn't steal the breath from our lungs, so that they wouldn't make a memory of this skin, so we could be kids, not casket or concrete. And it's not because they thought it would make us better than anyone else. It's simply because they wanted to keep us alive. All of my black friends were raised with the same message. The talk given to us when we became old enough to be mistaken for a nail ready to be hammered to the ground, when people made our melanin synonymous with something to be feared. But what does it do to a child to grow up knowing that you cannot simply be a child, that the whims of adolescence are too dangerous for your breath? You cannot simply be curious. You are not afforded the luxury of making a mistake, that someone's implicit bias might be the reason you don't wake up in the morning. But this cannot be what defines us. Because we had parents who raised us to understand that our bodies weren't meant for the backside of a bullet, but for flying kites and jumping rope and laughing until our stomachs burst. We had teachers who taught us how to raise our hands in class and not just to signal surrender, and that the only thing we should give up is the idea that we aren't worthy of this world. So when we say that Black lives matter, it's not because others don't. It's simply because we must affirm that we are worthy of existing without fear, when there are so many things that tell us we are not. I want to live in a world where my son will not be presumed guilty the moment he is born, where a toy in his hand isn't mistaken for anything other than a toy. And I refuse to accept that we can't build this world into something new, someplace where a child's name doesn't have to be written on a t-shirt or a tombstone, where the value of someone's life isn't determined by anything other than the fact that they had lungs. A place where every single one of us can breathe. And so this is a poem. What we know is that 12 of our first 18 presidents owned slaves. 8 of them owned slaves while they were in office. And this poem is a letter to 5 of them. Letter to 5 of the presidents who owned slaves while they were in office. George Washington, when you won the revolution, how many of your soldiers did you send from the battlefield to the cotton field? How many had to trade in their rifles for plows? Can you blame the slaves who ran away to fight for the British? Because at least the redcoats were honest about their oppression. Thomas Jefferson, when you told Sally Hemings that you would free her children if she remained your mistress, did you think there was honor in your ultimatum? Did you think we wouldn't be able to recognize the assault in your signature as raping your slave when you disguise it as bribery, make it less of a crime? When you wrote the Declaration of Independence, did you ever intend for black people to have freedom over their bodies? James Madison. When you wrote to Congress that black people should count as 3/5 of a person, how long did you have to look at your slaves to figure out the math? Was it easy to chop them up? Did you think they'd be happy being more than just half human? James Monroe. When you proposed sending slaves back to Africa, did black bodies feel like rented tools? When you branded them, did the scar on their chest include an expiration date? When you named the country Liberia, were you trying to be ironic? Does this really count as liberation? Andrew Jackson, was the Trail of Tears not enough for you? Was killing Cherokee, Choctaw, Creek, Seminoles not enough to quench your imperialism? How many brown bodies do you have to bulldoze before you can call it progress, Mr. Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Jackson? When you put your hand on the Bible and swore to protect this country, let's be honest in who you were talking about. When the first Independence Day fireworks set the sky aflame, don't forget where we were watching from. So when you remember Jefferson's genius, don't forget the slaves who built the bookshelves in his library. When you remember Jackson's victories in war, don't forget what he was fighting to preserve. When you sing that this country was founded on freedom, don't forget the duet of shackles dragging against the ground my entire life. I've been taught how perfect this country was, but no one ever told me about the pages torn out of my textbooks, how black and brown bodies have been bludgeoned for 3 centuries and find no place in the curriculum. Oppression doesn't disappear just because you decided not to teach us that chapter. If you only hear one side of the story, at some point you have to question who the writer is. I miss poets, man. Nobody throws pens at you in grad school. If they do, it's like much more violent. It's like not a kind thing. And so this is a poem I wrote all those many years ago when I was a teacher in PG. As a child, my father would tell me stories of ancient Egyptian warriors, traveling for endless days and nights across infinite desert plains, showing signs of endurance and bravery I could only dream of emulating. He would tell me that upon their return home, these warriors would be welcomed with a feast worthy of their bravery on the battlefield. Years later, as a teacher in Washington, D.C., I too now find myself traversing a desert, though it was not the one I intended. A food desert is categorized as a poor urban area where residents cannot afford or are not given access to healthy foods and grocery stores. Every day at 2:45, I watch my students hop onto this leaking submarine of a school bus, every block bringing them deeper into an ocean where the only fish they find are fried, where fruits and vegetables are playing hide and go seek because there are no grocery stores here. Just liquor stores and Popeyes, Dunkin' Donuts and 7-Eleven's, children born into a neighborhood that feels more pollution than solution. It is then I realize that I am not too far from the deserts I once dreamed of. So whether Harlem or the Sahara, it doesn't make much difference because the Whole Foods, Southeast DC is no different than the Serengeti to them. Brown-skinned little boys like my students are nothing more than walking cacti, just a piece of scenery this world has taught everyone to stay away from. Brianna literally has a landfill in her backyard, so she has a hard time convincing herself the world doesn't just think she's trash. Restaurants come and dump the remains of food she'll never be able to afford to eat 3 steps from her back door. Jose eats fast food 5 days a week because his mother works 3 jobs to take care of 6 kids and only sees her son when she arrives home from work at the same time he's leaving for school. He has gotten so big that the excess fat bunkered beneath his skin puts added pressure on his joints. His knees are literally crumbling under the weight of this world. Olivia watched her father shot 2 feet from her front porch. She wants nothing more than to go outside and play at the park after school, but gun violence has made a merry-go-round feel more like Russian roulette, so she doesn't go outside. Simply eats any processed food from the cabinet that will last long enough to prevent her from leaving the house too often. These are my students, my warriors, fighting a battle against an enemy they cannot clearly see. These kings and queens meant to feast, not to fester, but their zip code has already told them that their life expectancies are 30 years shorter than the county 7 miles away. I can see the faults of my own ancestry shaking in their eyes. Diabetes and high blood pressure run through the roots of my family tree. Heart disease is as much a part of my history as shackles and segregation. So from my father's kidney transplant to Olivia's asthma, these things are more than mere coincidence. Both grew up in places more accustomed to gunshots than gardens, so tell me place doesn't matter. That the neighborhoods that are predominantly wealthy aren't the same ones that are predominantly healthy. So when you're not choosing between buying your medicine and your groceries, health doesn't have to be a luxury. It doesn't have to be an abstract concept presented in academic journals and policy briefs. My students overcome more every day than I will in my lifetime. They are the roses that grew from the concrete, the budding oasis in the heart of the desert, and their lives are worth far much more than the things that this world have fed them. Thank you all so much.
All right. Look, let's give some snaps right now. Some right now. All of that right now. Thank you so much, Clint. Was Clint not amazing? We were super, super blessed to have him on our stage. All right. So the kids that you're about to see next are more of the present of our Words Our City team and a glimpse at the future DC Scores. As you know, we are DC Scores. We at DC Scores are the hub of the national network America Scores. This school year, our 8 through 11-year-old poet athletes tried their hand for a spot at the America Scores National Youth Poetry Slam. Elementary schoolers from dozen North American cities competed in Chicago, San Francisco, or New York for a chance to represent their hometown in national finals. The national finals were supposed to take place at the Kennedy Center in late March, but obviously plans changed. Thank you, COVID-19. Shout out. So we're taking the slam online. Next month, we'll share with you performances from all the finalists around the country and invite you, our audience, to help America Scores pick the winner. But tonight, I want you to meet Harlem, one of our poet athletes who represented DC Scores in New York at the Eastern Regional Slams. Earlier this week, I got a chance to catch up with Harlem and ask him about that experience and what it was like for him. Let's take a look. Harlem, how did it feel? Especially since you got selected to go to National Slam, how did it feel being part of our city?
That was an amazing experience. Because at first, I thought joining DC Scores was gonna be like, okay, I'm doing soccer. I like sports. So and then I heard my friend say I can't wait till Friday, and I asked them why, and they said it's because it's poetry. And I'm really good at reading. I think that I'm the top reader in my class. And like I'm a good writer. So I was excited about that. And I was just so hyped when I went on that first poetry slam stage. And when my mom picked me up from school saying that she got an email from one of the judges, I thought it was like a selection of the best people, not like actually going to like a Our Words, Our City or a big event. So I was hyped, and it was a good moment for me. And then the national slam part, that I thought that they were joking at first. I thought that they were joking.
What do you think they're joking about? Going to New York? What part did you not believe?
New York, like they said that I would be going to a national poetry slam, and I just thought that they were joking. I thought that they were just like rewarding me or something, and they were trying to joke with me for Our Words, Our City. But no, they actually wanted me to go to the poetry slam.
No, that's so
and like it was my first year. So I was, yeah.
You're pretty good. I mean, if it's your first year and you already on national stages and stuff.
You're on the right.
You heard her. You're on the right path. That's exactly what that means. Right on the path.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Wasn't Harlem just a precious little Teddy Graham? Oh my goodness. So precious. All right, y'all. I'm so pleased to welcome a very special surprise guest. This man is a DC Scores ambassador, but more importantly, he's the starting goalkeeper for DC United. Let's welcome Bill Hamid. What's up, Bill?
Woo! I'd say the other one is more important, but hey.
Hey, it's the script, whatever. But yeah, I feel you. So, how you doing, Bill? Thank you for being here with us tonight. It's really a pleasure to have you on board with us. Just want to ask you, tell us, how did you get involved with DC Scores?
I got involved with DC Scores a long time ago. The program at the time was called United for DC. And when I was in high school, I was working the after-school program at a couple elementary schools in DC, Ketchum Elementary School, Harrison Elementary School. I do their after-school programs. I would go and hang out with those kids, establish relationships with them, play soccer with them, and just give them an opportunity to be safe and have a good time after school.
That's awesome.
And since then, DC Scores has been our charitable arm at DC United. They've done some amazing things, and it's an honor to be a part of everything that they're building.
Yeah, we're extremely lucky to have you as one of our ambassadors. And another question, our kids sit right behind your goal during the games in section 138. Shout out Screaming Eagles. And they really look up to you. Yeah. Any words of wisdom that you have for them right now while they're home, anxious to get back out on the field with their teams?
Yeah. No, the only words of wisdom I would give to all the kids that are stuck at home, unfortunately not able to play with their friends, go to school, enjoy the time that they have as in their youth, just to stay positive. That's the biggest thing right now, is to stay positive, is to try to keep a positive mindset through all of this, because it does get tough being at home, being stuck at home. But what can you do? What outlets do you have, i.e. poetry, i.e. soccer? What outlets do you have to be able to enjoy your time, to make the most of this time? Can you get on a call with your friend and maybe talk about some soccer things, talk about some soccer drills, talk about some poetry that you've maybe done, during this time. Whatever you can do to keep a positive mindset during this time is the most important thing. And I encourage everyone to try to shed some light, shed some love with their families, call your friends, stay in the loop, and just keep smiling.
I love it. Stay positive and stay connected is what I'm hearing. Bill, thank you. Thank you for all that you do for our kids.
Thank you, Charity.
Our team. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks, Bill.
Love you guys. Love you, Charity.
Oh,
you guys stay strong out here, yo.
Word. Thank you, Bill. That was great. Bill is such an amazing supporter of DC Scores. Now, let's meet one other great person that's a supporter of DC Scores, one of our friends. One incredible professional who's helped prepare our youngest poet athletes is also DC's Youth Poet Laureate, Marjan Nadiri. As you'll see in a minute, she was awesome on the stage at Studio Theater. And I got to catch up with her recently, and I asked her to share what it was like working with our kids. Let's see what she had to say.
Hello, my name is Marjana Jerry. Happy National Poetry Month. I am a teaching artist at DC Scores and the current DC Youth Poet Laureate. I got involved with DC Scores about like a year and a half ago, and I remember attending the middle school slam and just being in complete awe that these young, profound and brave people, like around, how old are they, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, are getting behind a stage in front of strangers, behind a microphone, and sharing their own pieces of writing that they worked hours and hours to perfect on the paper, and then spent even more weeks on top of that to try and perfect the performance. And it was amazing because they're really finding inspiration with things outside of themselves. And so there were topics such as immigration, racism, gun violence, bullying, all of those addressed. And it was quite inspiring. We often forget how much weight and voice people who are younger than us can carry. And it's so incredibly important to always listen to them. And then later on, I was introduced into the athletics side of DC Scores, where they would have incredible tournaments and they would work on their team building skills and communication skills. And I remember seeing families of young ones that they love very much, supporting them on the sidelines. And it's awesome that DC Scores gives the opportunity for young people to explore themselves through healthy coping skills. Especially in parts like Washington, D.C., where it's like a really weird balance between here are some resources available to some and some that are not, but D.C. Scores is great at always keeping things available to all folk and really prioritizing a young person's mind and their drive and their ambition and nourishing that. And so that is why I do love DC Scores so dearly. If you guys are interested in watching these young people share their work, on April 30th, at the end of the month, they have their virtual poetry slam. And so I'm really excited to be going and watching them continue to share their work. And so I hope to see you there as well. Peace.
Thank you for those kind words, Marjan. Now, let's see Marjan in action. Plus, let's also see Harlem and his teammates in action. Back to the show.
All right, now, returning to the DC Scores present, help me welcome to the stage, Angie!
Let me tell you about my friend Mary Jane. She's sweet, she's caring, and had a big brain. Every single day she made us laugh. If you were feeling small, she'd make you feel tall as a giraffe. MJ is the coolest nerd that you'll ever meet. Every single day she surprised her teacher, Miss Sweet. MJ loves to sing every day. In her head, she thought she was Beyonce. If you're feeling sad, MJ will make you smile. Lip gloss, headbands, fake glasses, and glitter were her signature style. Pink, purple, rainbow, and chips were some of MJ's favorite things. So with gel pens, unicorns, her family, her friends, her school, and everything with blame. I feel like everyone who knew her is lonely without her, so we all had to support each other. I wish I had the power to prevent her from dying. I pray and I dream, but still I'm crying. I hope you're without pain. I hope you're without asthma, so you're free as a butterfly. Now you're without pain, so you're my spirit guide. MJ, right now some days are hard to get through, but for the rest of my life, I will remember you.
Stop the violence. The violence needs to stop. A bullet flew through Aton Elementary School. They canceled our soccer game that day. I was happy to hear that the kids were okay. I wish the world was a better place. Every second it's a gunshot. Every minute it's a gunshot. Every hour it's a gunshot. Every day it's a gunshot. It needs to stop. I see people fighting every day. I go home by myself. I take 3 buses to get home. I was scared when I saw fighting. The fighting in my community needs to stop. The gunshots in my community needs to stop. The violence in my community needs to stop. And in order for it to stop, a change has to start with us.
can be helpful or harmful, whether it's from your friends or teachers. They can glow or grow. Before you say those words, remember, your mouth can become a shotgun ready to aim and fire. Every word, every statement, every judgment is a bullet loading in your gun. If you want to fire those bullets at someone, pick wisely. Sometimes my mouth can be a machine gun that shoots bullets uncontrollably. Always locked and loaded for anyone in my path. My words broke my friend's heart. He was sad inside, but I didn't mean to hurt him. I'm learning now to unload my gun and think before I speak.
Marjan is the 2020 DC Youth Poet Laureate, a 5-time Poetry Grand Slam champion. Marjan has been working with DC Scores poets to develop their poetry and support their performances tonight. So without further ado, everyone make some noise right now for Marjan!
That's some cool thing we got. We got like Chelsea in the back. She knows it. We got all the people over here. That's awesome. How are you guys feeling tonight? Good. Word. This is a poem that I wrote on the 2018 DC Youth Slam team with my teammate Mary. And I feel like it's so fitting, so. Dear again, how are you holding up? Plastered across this country on the hats and shirts of white women. I'm sorry Donald pulled you into this again. I'm sorry Trump misused a word like you, one so easy to understand. He's not that bright. He thinks America a star he can grab and lift up to her former glory, like she was ever glorious to begin with. You are America's worst habit. One she is no longer afraid to flaunt proudly. One she will never break. We use you so often we forget its genuine history. How the white man ends up in office again. How the citizens are outraged again. How the camps are repurposed again. Used to turn children to aliens to animals again. Make it easier to beat them into submission again. Advertise them as beasts again. Make it easier to beat them into submission again. You have so much blood on your hands. So many memories. None of them good. But I guess every slogan needs a little bit of falsity, right? All lives matter, nasty women, global warming isn't real. I guess you gotta lie a little to get to the top, to trump everything. Sometimes you gotta use a bit of fake news to fill in the blanks again. You loom over us like a curse word. You are the new word my mama won't let us say at the dinner table. We hear you even when you're not there. The black girl dies. The Muslim girl dies. The trans girl dies. America has a stuttering problem. Stealing again, lying again, lynching again, bombing again, terrorizing again, policing again, stuttering again. We are dying again and again and again and again. And how awfully American to be tarnished at the hands of a white man with too much power, to turn genocide into a thing that white men can flaunt proudly, to be tokenized, monetized, and used to rekindle a racist revolution. This isn't the first time we have seen this kind of neglect. And again, this won't be the last.
The end. This will never be the end for me. But for you all, it really depends. People saying black people can't be great, well, hold my pen. As long as I paint a picture somewhat perfect image in place of being another perk-popping pro addict who sells fake happiness to 9th or 10th graders. As long as I stay away from drugs. I know that will be the cause of my death. Or selling so much I end up doing the race, but I'm not fast. so I catch a case. Don't want to be made up of more and more broken pieces. Play it smart. It will help you get money and not be taken for less than you are, because half of these people will betray you, causing you to spend dark nights leaving you with your dreams and no. I want to be great.
Yeah.
Look, another day, I made it another day, and I'm on my knees praying that evil stays out the way with all the baggage on my body trying to cause a delay. I move through it, I don't stray, you only know what I display, but you don't know what life based off the way it's betrayed. I'm feeling broken, but you don't know what I paid. I'm feeling heavy, but you don't know what it weighs. I'm feeling empty, but you don't know what I gave, yeah. But I just keep throwing up prayers while the world is getting colder. I just keep throwing on layers, look. Oh, I just quit doing you favors when I'm steady taking for granted. You gon' keep feeling my anger, look. Another try, I'll give it another try when I'm in my sheets, hoping I'll make it another night with all the evil in my way. I'm moving with blurry sight, but I hustle with the speed of light. You seeing how I write, but you don't know a heart based off the way that it can. I'm together, but you don't know when I tear. I'm moving silent, but you don't know what I hear. I'm acting brave, but you don't know what I fear, look. But I just keep on reading scriptures while everyone is losing. I'll be standing with the victors, yeah.
America Scores is bringing back the first of our 4 DC Scores poet athletes who are our future. Please make some noise for Harlem!
My school is cool. Just thought you should know that. But sure, we have some rules, like in class, there is no hats. But we get special things like walkie-talkie day and jeans. And now I have some more reasons and some more things. My school is cool because we are a tier 1 school and my teachers don't teach fools. My school is cool because we go on field trips. Have you ever heard of 3rd and 4th graders going on field trips? Well, we do. My school is cool because I attend Kip Quest Academy. Look, if you mess up, I'll call my dinosaur. We growing up, we getting big, yeah, we gonna roar. Let you choose Velociraptor or Tyrannosaurus. So we come from a different age, you know. If you get mad, get ready for the rage, you know. And it can be a whole Warcraft. You look smart to come and ask. Bring whatever, it's a fight. The jaws crunch. We can go all night. Run up with the back spikes, those are pitch of life. Yeah, Brachiosaurus throw you up and kick you down. See pterodactyl flying through and you get a frown. We can get tactical, it's magic how we come around. Yeah, it's magical because they don't exist. We don't use fists, come through the mist. Yeah, they extinct, but now you won't exist.
I care about the community. I care about unity. I know many people don't care, and some people just stare. Many don't have homes, with something simple like homes, going days without food, and people pass by being rude. Why do we have to be so mean to the people who just want to be seen and need us to make unity in order to build a community? Dear baby brother, I love you in the morning, afternoon, and at night. But I have to go to school. I'm so sad when I have to drop you off at your babysitter because I can't see you. When I come home and don't have a good day, you make it all better just by making a smile. I love you, baby brother. I never want to see you cry. I want to see you smile. I love you, baby brother. Always and forever keep that in mind. Te amo, hermanito chiquito.
Bang, bang, bang. Run, scatter, hide. Lock your door, duck down the side. No playing around. It's not a game.
You don't want to be found. They were shots heard. Where are we? At my school. Bullets in the classroom. Locked inside, no place to go. Screaming and crying down the hall. Teachers and students hide behind a wall. Violence, violence, violence. We need to get away from violence. We need a safe haven away from home. A place that we can call our own. If violence is at my school and at my home, where's the safe place that I can call my own? A place where peace is at its core, where violence doesn't exist anymore. Lies, lies, lies. Lying is not cool. That's a true fact. Lying gets you in more trouble, and I'm not cool with that. Lies, lies, lies everywhere I go. Feeling like you don't want trust anymore. Thinking to yourself, why do I lie? Breaking people's trust, making them cry. Not being real, I'm not that kind of a guy. That's like a cyclops without that one eye. If I was to tell you that I was a dragon that can fly, would you believe me and look up in the sky? Lies, lies, lies. In this world, people should tell the truth. Now let's all get together and set an example for the youth. Things will go smooth. Wouldn't that be cool? I believe that's the truth that we all can agree to.
The Fresh Prince of DC.
He's the Fresh Prince of DC.
Yeah, you know that's me, a real life cheater. How could that be? I learn, I lead, and I definitely persevere. You see, that's why they got me on this stage, just so you could hear. I'm the Fresh Prince of DC. Yeah, I'm telling you, you should try to be like me. I'm the hood's new Biggie. I just want to make sure y'all hear me. You see, we come from royalty. Growing up in this little city, we always show loyalty. That's why we call ourselves princes and princesses. You see, we got royalty flowing through our veins. That's why I never take school as a game. Now, as the Fresh Prince of DC, there are some things that you should hear. As kids, we got to work to always be friends and see how we could bring bullying to an end. Having my own voice isn't that tough, because being my own self is good enough. Being a person like me can be always, so just follow my words, and you have a great day. I am Jerry Payton Chamberlain. That's me. Who are you? What's your path? You don't have to be Steph Curry to be perfect. That's why if I miss a shot, I might get a rebound. No one is perfect. That's why pencils have erasers. Be you. Don't hide your face behind the mirror covered in makeup. This is our community, and we are responsible of being ourselves. Black and white men wearing chains all the time. Women getting their ears pierced every day. Man, just be you. You don't have to be NBA YoungBoy to be cool. You be a cop, a waitress, a meteorologist, a chemist, an astronaut, an NFL player, or anything you want to be. You don't have to be Lamar Jackson to do this job. Just be you, and your future will be bright and brand new.
Give it up for Jerry! Let's give it up for the stars of our words, our city. Thank y'all so much. Have a great night. Let's turn up.
Wasn't that amazing? No, like all the snaps right here, all the claps, all the snap, all that. Yes, that was outstanding, such a special night. You cannot deny the power of youth voice. You cannot deny the power of poetry and spoken word. And you cannot deny the impact of a much needed program, DC Scores. Even though we can't physically be with our poet athletes in person right now, we are continuing to work with them on their poems and their soccer skills. And you can help us continue to do this. Help us continue to keep thousands of kids in DC feeling safe, supported, connected, and hopeful during this pandemic. Share this video. Tell people about DC Scores. Shop at the DC Scores store at the bottom of this page. And of course, donate. Donate right now. Whatever you can give. Any and every donation counts. Remember, tonight only, every dollar is matched. We've raised over $24,000 tonight, so let's clap it up for you and snap it, all that good stuff. That is amazing. Thank you. But there's still a chance to have your donation matched. So if you can, right now, please, please, please do what you can. Thank you to our poet athletes for their phenomenal performances. Thank you to all of our special guests. Big, big thanks to all of you out there who are watching and joining us tonight and embarking on this magical journey with us. Thank you to our host committee and the chair, Ann Woodworth. That's my homie. You can see all of them listed on the website, and we appreciate them so much. And a special, special thanks tonight to our sponsor, tonight's sponsor, T-Rex Solutions, and the Aventus Media, and to Chad, the man behind the screen that y'all can't see that's been doing all this back and forth flipping and all this amazing things. This would not be possible without them. Thank you for making us look so good, making me look, a little snazzy. And I hope that all of you were inspired. Have a great night. Stay healthy. Peace.